Hello, everybody, again, and welcome to another episode of Stock Talk. I am your host, Mike, and Kage is with me here checking out all the bulls and the bears of all the stocks that we're going to cover. Welcome.
Hi there.
What's going on, man?
Pretty good. Just seeing what they're saying and what they're doing, not necessarily being blocked out by noise.
Yeah. Speaking of noise, did you see the grifter, the grifter slash shill Kramer on Sad Money on MSDNC? It was last night, I think. He went on a rant. Do you
what
want
did he rant about?
So this Tweedledee goes off on a rant, and he demands that Joe Biden impose universal vaccine mandates enforced by and have the military enforce them. So, I guess he thinks we're in the USSR or something.
Mao Zedong would blush.
Yeah. So,
what is doing?
dude, yeah, he's running. This is a guy on a regular freaking TV show, and he's spewing this rubbish. It's supposed to be a stock show and a financial show. I think he's gone mad about money. I think he's gone blooming mad. First, I mean, we always knew he was a shill for corporate America, but now, man, he's just he's just gone completely cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs there, man.
Yeah, he's definitely off the deep end.
Yeah.
I think he's a little bit too drunk with power.
Yeah.
When you get too drunk, that's when you end up in an alley without all your clothes.
Yeah, so this is courtesy of the Gateway Pundit, but basically his demands have been so far no state rights is what he's saying here. Use of the military against U.S. citizens. That's awesome there, Jim. House arrest for unvaccinated without due process. Does that sound a little bit like Australia, guys? Yeah, I mean, at some point,
I would say so. That is draconian as hell.
Yeah, and he says screw the First and Second Amendment. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying screw you guys. People need to turn this stuff off and find out. They just need to turn this crap off. It's garbage. When someone goes on a rant like that, we're in the United States. We're not in USSR. So that's just my 2 cents about it. And if you don't like it, you can take a walk and have a nice day. So that's what I have to say. What do you got to say?
You put the U.S. military against the people of the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Not pretty.
No.
Honestly, I don't think the troops would have it.
No, the troops would. I think they
would probably try to side with the people that they were sworn to protect.
They would stand down. They're not gonna do stuff like that. So, good luck there, Jim. I don't know what fantasy land you live in, but and he said questionable things about crypto and everything like that. But that's what you get from a shill. So, going into the first stock we're going to talk about, we just had to talk about that because you got a financial guy talking about using the military against the people of the country. I mean, let people do what they want to do. That's what the flag is there for. Is there, and it's let people do what they want to do and let people decide their own thing, not using force, military force. He's trying to say that I can see where he's tying in. He's trying to say, oh, because the stuff's not going. No, stuff's not going because lots of bad things have happened as far as pissy policy. And it's just going to keep on heading down the whizzer if it keeps going that way. So it's probably would say you'd have to go back to, let's just say, laissez-faire. Okay, guys, the next stock we have is PROG. PROG, last tick was $3.12. Going into it, this one, look at the chart. The chart is pretty healthy for the year. You're getting an uptick, and then we saw a little downward momentum. I'm sure that had to do with the wonderful news from the Fed there today, that everything's going good as far as things are good. Let's keep on steering the ship to the iceberg. We'll try to keep away from the iceberg, but we're not sure if we're going to hit the iceberg. So going into so you're going to see some things affected, but some of the stocks, like I said before, some of your biopharmaceuticals, those are your ones that you want to watch there. Okay, so its products include preparing carrier tests for innate prenatal screens for clinicians, and for rediscovering a hereditary cancer test and a research prenatal test. The company was founded in the People's Republic of San Diego, California. What do you got so far for me on this one, Kage, as far as sentiment, as far as from your traders out there?
Mostly bullish. These guys kind of like it. Like this one, New Money Napo. PROG. My take is if it hasn't been shorted lower than at $2.90 in over a month, and it won't go any lower than $2.90. They will just keep trying to short on the small rips like today. As to why I bought today at $3.10, we shall see tomorrow.
Well, to give you a little background on this stock has been played around with for years. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but a lot of people, this is a top swing play for a lot of people a lot of times, for a lot of years, not a lot of times, but for many years now. And so you're going to see people get in and out on this a lot. I know Ricky Gutierrez, just because I'm a student, an online student, not a paid student, but he talks about this one a lot as far as for teaching people how to day trade and how to make smart trades. You could go look at some of his on PROG from years past. He might have some updated ones, I don't know. But it looks like they aim to improve the diagnostic disease and improve patient outcomes through localized treatment target therapies. Okay, so one of the things in the platform they're going into is they study as far as diseases involving gastrointestinal tract after affected millions of people worldwide. These disorders range from inflammatory bowel disease, so that's one of the projects they're working on, and various forms of hepatitis. Yeah, that's not a good one, especially a lot of people that come back from foreign wars and things like that. You get a lot of them have hepatitis and things like that, and it's not good, and they have to live with that, and it's really bad. So unfortunately, so if they're working on something for that, like I always said, Kage, when you go into some of these, you are supporting the greater good of mankind by helping them do their studies and things like that. Wouldn't you say some of your dogos there?
Yeah, I'd say some of it, yeah.
Yeah, so, well, it also depends which company, too, as far as, where does the actual go. But that's another story for another day, another show. The functional disorders like irritable bowel syndrome, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, they work to address the unmet needs of these patients with ingestible technologies that would transform the diagnosis treatment of GI disease. Achieving therapy drug levels with systematic delivery of medication and difficult to safety concerns. Current GI diagnoses are either invasive endoscopy surgery or endoscopy and invasive procedures, and so they're trying to do another type of therapy and things like that. One of the things for GI target therapeutics, IBD affects 1.8 million patients in the U.S. alone. Did you know that, Kage?
No, I did not.
No, so with it, existing therapeutics have extremely poor efficacy due to insufficient drug concentrations. Well, yeah, that's another thing. Quit filling up big pharma and load yourself up with drugs there, you know what I'm saying? I mean, sometimes you got to do what you got to do, but these other types of forms of things that people are trying to do also help as well, so you don't have to load up and be dependent on that. They have a localized topical drug delivery to the colon that has potential to improve outcomes of IBD through increased efficacy and safety. They're developing therapeutics that combine Progenity-owned investigative formulas to approved drugs and the drug delivery systems. What do you got so far on so far as some of your sentiment? What are the traders saying out there? The real ones on Stockwoods.
Here's this one. Axe Capital One, PROG. We know that Golden Cross 50 over 200 MA is around the corner. When 50 crossed 100 MA a couple of days ago, the SP shot up to 6+. Imagine what will happen when 50 crosses 200 C. By the way, bears have no real thesis other than calling us names. Pay no mind. Charts.
Yeah, and that's
a chart of where the intersections crossed.
The bears can keep on farting around whatever they want to. When they hit their study and when they do, like I've said this on these are why these are some of the safest plays, because you're writing the news. you're going to be able to swing, and you're also going to be able to, with some of these, you're also going to be able to break with the news, lock in your profits, get out, and do certain things like that. If some of you want a long hold, that you got whatever your game is, your game. Day trade, small trade, half trade, quarter trade, whatever your trade. And I'm just making crap up now, but yeah, you do what you want to do, what your game is. We don't tell you what to do, and so looks like they're going to reduce development risk by using approved drugs. More drugs to the site diseases show promising efficacy profiles. Less drugs delivered systematically lead to improved safety profile. Key milestones for the company is they're a recipient of Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. Crohn's and colitis are terrible diseases. So if they got a grant from, it looks like the IBD Venture Development Grant. They got that in May 2021. So when the news broke there, so people aren't just going to give them freaking dough if they're farting around with it. That's a huge grant and a huge milestone there for them. So that was good. Also, here's another thing for the Bears. In quarter 4 of 2021, top line results for the clinical pharmaceuticals pharmacodynamic study of the adalimumab, of ulcerative colitis in patients, basically. So they were working for quarter 4 of 2021. So the colitis thing is huge. They also did in 2022. They estimate the initial first clinical study evaluating pharmacokinetics, pharmacodynamics of therapeutics delivering with the DDS. So you have that as well. What else you got as far as any side news that you're seeing as far as out there besides what I'm going to tell you coming up here? Is there anything that's not on the Alphabet channels or anything? No, like as far as like there's no other comments as far as besides any type of interesting posts that they're posting as far as news, because sometimes you get news about stuff where the poster will just post without referencing articles because it heard it through the grapevine, things like that. So
yeah,
what do you got? Okay, Kage, so what do you have on your end as far as, I got an interesting bear comment, and I'd like to comment back on that one because it's kind of, but I mean, I could be, what do you got?
Let's hear the bear comment first. Be my guest.
Okay, so the dentist just says the PROG's not even profitable. He adds that the inevitably incoming 80% market crash. Yeah, we know that's, everybody's got that writing on the wall. Just wait for interest rates to go up too next, and that'll be really. He says you're going to be stuck holding the bag for years to come. I'm not going to say that he's right and wrong a little bit. With these guys going with the GI tract as far as these types of studies and what they're doing, and they have the cash flow and the grants. I'm not going to go there when there's a market correction. I'm not going to go there with PROG on that one. I mean, you could say that I'm dumb. You could say whatever. That's what the show's for. It's freedom and everything like that. I don't have all the answers, but I'm not going there on this company like this. It's been too consistent over the years. What do you got?
Yeah, it's just consistency is key.
I mean, everybody's affected by a crash or a correction, but I don't think this one's going to take too hard of a hit because these guys could have a breakthrough therapy in colitis or any type of upper GI thing, or with the colon therapy and things like that. And regardless of that, I mean that's people don't understand how big and huge that is. And I don't have any stock in this company at all. I don't carry the cooler for anybody. I'm just saying the healthcare industry, things like that. They come through with all these you're simply taking a lottery ticket on some of these where you're waiting for it to happen. You can go ask people that held lottery tickets of stocks of the past that blew up. But when you're hitting something like this, and when this type of thing affects many people all the time, and it has for GI tract issues, there's lots of people that have them. Luckily for me, I don't have it, but anything like that. But what I'm saying is that with the money power here and things like that, I think he's just trying to do a hot take there to try to just get people's attention and things like that. I'm going to say that's a hot take to try to get trolls. He's got 17 comments on him, so I mean that you don't want to. You're basically, I give the guy's got cojones for going in here and doing that, because he just the prog people are heavy hitters, man, and they'll freaking come, and Stockwitz is, and they'll come down on you hard, man. So if they sense you're fake, man, it's like freaking, they're gonna light you up, dude, with comments. So what do you got on your end?
I don't really have anything more to add. Just this company seems a little bit swing worthy.
Yeah.
If you're willing to buy into it.
Yeah.
But if you want to give it a pass, that's your choice.
Yeah, that's your choice too. But like you're going into a chat room and you're going to hit people up that are talking about whiskey and talking about partying because they love the stock that much, and you're gonna go and drop a comment like that. I mean, you're just setting yourself up. I'm just saying. So we're gonna move on to the next though. But it was good covering this one. I think this one's interesting, so it's worth a look for sure. Probably pop up again. It's one of the most talked about stocks on the net right now. So we're going to go on to the next stock, and we'll be right back with you. Peace.
Oh, okay.
Okay, guys, the next stock we have is ATHX. ATHX. Last tick was $1 and 0.600. The graph on this it's pretty stable there, Kage, going on the chart. It's a healthy year-to-date chart. Obviously, you got the Q card bounce going in there. Looks like they're in the discovery and development therapies for design to extend enhance to quality of human life. It offers multi-stem as stem cell product, which provides biological potency and therapeutic effects to disrupt diseases and conditions for cardiovascular, neurological, inflammatory, and immune diseases. Another heavy hitter. This one is they're headquartered in Cleveland, Ohio. One of the things here, Kage, is this is another type of issue that the country has a problem with and around the world. With this, if they're doing tests and things like that to try to figure out how to help improve people's lives, this is another one to look into as far as a check and maybe possibly put on your watch list. What do you got on the trader end for the real traders on that side?
For ATHX,
we're on Stockwitz.
I'm not seeing bulls, not yet anyway. The overall thing, it seems to be like for this one, there must be a lot of pre-market sellers who are very happy, and it's got a guy almost getting on fire from an exploding car.
That's pretty funny. It looks like they're exploring the treatment of semiotic stroke there, which represents the leading serious cause of disease in the United States, Europe, Japan, China, and other regions around the world. The potential for multi-stem treatment is currently being evaluated in a registrational trial in Japan by collaborative partner Helios KK in a pivotal phase 3 clinical trial being conducted by U.S. primarily in North America and Europe under FDA Special Protocol Assessment and SPA. So with this, obviously they're in number 3. When they get to 4 and the stuff goes out, as they hit these phases, like I said, and these guys got their hands in several different things. That's not the only one. That's just the big heavy dog is the neurological part. So as news pops, then your bank account pops. It just depends how many shares you got. They're also working on inflammatory immune-related HSC transplant, acute respiratory distress syndrome, trauma, and solid organ treatment support. For cardiovascular, they're working on acute myocardial and infarction. So that's what I was saying, or congenitive heart failure. PVD that one's interesting there, huh, Kage, without giving up too much? Yeah, exactly. They are also believing the pipeline can broaden over time, given the technology capabilities and approaches for multi-stem cell therapy has significant potential range across clinical indications by maintaining a lean infrastructure and collaborative with others for leading academic researchers. So they trim the fat basically within the company, any of the pork, things like that, and they're trying to operate on a normal budget so they can get moving here to bring some dineros in and things like that. What do you got as far as comments for your bulls? Because I know a lot of people are they got their bull signs. Is it just like memes and emojis, or do you got like freaking anybody have any interesting comments or hot takes that you got on your deal there?
Mostly I'm just seeing a lot of what is it called, clips or whatever.
Mm-hmm. I have an interest.
Some actually have some writing here, like for this one. Similar acute plasma biomarker responses to multi-stem, including decreases in pro-inflammatory cytokines.
Mm-hmm.
IL-1 beta. Some of these others I can't explain.
Yeah, well, some of them are almost like
for isostemic stroke.
You almost have to have a degree in biology to read some of them, and some of you guys can be like,
I'm sorry, I don't have.
Yeah.
I don't have a degree in reading.
Yeah. So forgive us. We're not biology majors. We're trying to break it down the best we can. Going into interesting here. This guy has a comment here. It's interesting here. He says, "So scary to be long here, but the management cannot compete a trial in a timely manner. Does not care about the impact of foot dragging of SP price. How can we trust that they are capable of bringing the product to the market? Every year passes, and the more and more convinced that the management." Guys, so here's your news right here. Kage, I found this interesting report. This is on Business Wire, courtesy of Business Wire. They have a placebo report-controlled clinical trial evaluating multi-stem cell therapy for acute respiratory distress syndrome published in Intensive Care Medicine. So that's one of the reasons why I wouldn't call some... I'm sure the lists went out when they saw the percentages, and that's where some people got on board, which was foolish, unless you're trying to short, which you do that, what you got to do. But it says results showed the therapy was tolerated and support potential benefits in mortality, ventilator-free and ICU days, quality of life outcomes. So with that one guy that was on there, and he's just like, he goes, well, things aren't going anywhere. Like I told you, when news pops, you're going to make cash. It's just a matter of you just got to be patient. And that's how some people made dough on this. So you're just going to, with all their, you have 4 different players of studies that they're doing here. So it could be this with the acute respiratory distress syndrome on this one. It could be cardiac one. It could be any of those studies that they're doing with the stroke. And you're going to get instant newses every like 1, 2, 4, if that even makes sense. But you're going to get news here and there. And that's what I said about these, is that they're a little more safer than some of your, what's a good one? Solyndra, maybe? If you remember that one, I believe that's an empty warehouse somewhere in California, maybe?
I believe so. That was vague and unreliable goods.
Yeah, and don't think that there's more to come on these. When you guys see these companies coming out, Kage and I have been around the block. We know the inner workings of all these politicians and things like that. If you don't think that some of these companies in the PR that they're pumping out with the alphabet news, if you don't think that they're goofing around with some of the stuff, you got another thing coming to you. That's why you got to watch it. What's your investment? Watch where the money flows overseas. Watch who's playing around with it, and watch who's putting out the news. Because a lot of these news organizations, they will do the pump up the jam, and then you're out. And I'm not
like a hot potato.
Yeah, and you'll be like, they'll drop it like it's hot, and you open your account, and you'll be like, holy crap, what happened? And then they'll go back in and they'll gobble up your cheap crap, because that's what they like to do, and that's the name of their game, is to grab the cheap stuff. They'll want to be on the cheap. I like to be on the cheap, but I don't have a magic wand like they do. They have all the magic wands and all the insights there. Do you got anything to add about this one?
No, I don't have anything else to add.
This
is a risky one to put your money into. I might say give this one a look, but for me, I'd make a hard pass.
Yeah, with this one with me, I would put it on a watch list and just watch it. Like I said, news popping on this. You never know with a biopharmaceutical. It does have the Q card bounce in February. It has stayed pretty steady. It's dropping, but that's not to say that news doesn't pop and then something else happens. So that's the thing there is, I'm going to be neutral, and I would say put it on your watch list, because things with these change. Situations and events change all the time, and when they hit these phases, you never know what's going to happen. So with this, we're going to go possibly into the pump and dump list, see if we can find any junk stocks there, or we might just call it a show, and I will let you know in 2 and 2. We'll be back. Okay, guys, so went on the pump up the jam list, and a couple stocks you want to possibly look into. We're not going to cover too much of them, just because we've already covered them. You can go back to some of the shows that we've had before. CPIX is one that's on the pump up the jam list. Then you got Qualigen Therapeutics, QLGN. And then what do we got here? Yeah, the rest of them are just subs that I see on what the promoters have put out. You could check those two out and see where you, if you want to investigate those or not. But don't make it a dog show. And good night now!
Good night.